Welcome to Fairy Animal Stories, your go-to place for heartwarming and emotional humans and animal stories. It was a crisp autumn afternoon when the incredible story of a dog who saved his owner's life began. Max, a large, loyal German shepherd with a shaggy coat of fur that caught the light like a golden halo, was always by his owner Tom's side. Tom had adopted Max when he was just a puppy, and the bond between them was instant, almost magical. Tom was a quiet man, a writer who spent most of his days typing away at his desk, only venturing outside for walks with Max or the occasional trip to the coffee shop. Max, on the other hand, was a spirited creature, always eager to explore the world, his senses sharp and his instincts even sharper. The two had become inseparable companions over the years, and while Tom cherished Max's playful energy, he had no idea how much his dog would soon change his life. On this particular day, Tom was in his usual routine, sipping a hot cup of tea by the window, watching the leaves rustle outside. Max, however, was acting strangely. He kept pacing back and forth, his ears perked, eyes fixed on the door as though something was amiss. Tom, being preoccupied with his writing, dismissed it as Max simply being restless. But Max was persistent, tugging at Tom's sleeve, growling softly as if trying to communicate something urgent. Tom finally stood up, and to Max's relief, he followed his owner into the kitchen. At that moment, an overwhelming smell of gas suddenly hit Tom's nostrils. The gas leak had been so faint that Tom hadn't noticed it earlier, but Max's sharp senses had caught onto it immediately. Max's instincts, finely tuned by years of companionship, had detected the dangerous presence of the gas before it could reach the level that might have ignited, which would have surely led to an explosion. The hairs on the back of Tom's neck stood up as he rushed to turn off the stove, his hands trembling with the sudden rush of realization. If it hadn't been for Max's vigilance, Tom could have been dead within moments, and he had no idea just how close he had come to disaster. In the days that followed, Tom couldn't stop thinking about Max's heroic act. He had saved his life without hesitation, without any command or request. Max had simply known, deep within his bones, that something was wrong and that it was up to him to protect his beloved human. Tom was overwhelmed with gratitude, but also with an unspoken understanding that their relationship was more profound than he had ever realized. As he watched Max curl up at his feet later that evening, Tom couldn't help but feel a deep connection to the dog, as though their lives were interwoven by an invisible thread of loyalty and trust. What Tom didn't know was that this would not be the last time Max would save him. Months later, a near-fatal car accident would occur, and once again, Max's remarkable instincts would come into play. Tom had been driving down a narrow country road when, in the blink of an eye, the car swerved off course, heading straight toward a large tree. Tom, in a panic, tried to steer the car back on track, but it was no use. The car was spinning out of control, and everything seemed to slow down. In the split second before impact, Max, who had been in the passenger seat, leaped forward, bracing himself against the seat, and somehow, miraculously, pushed Tom's hand away from the wheel. With a force that defied explanation, Max guided the car just enough to avoid the worst of the crash. The car hit the tree at a glancing angle rather than head-on, and while Tom was knocked unconscious, he survived, sustaining only minor injuries. The paramedics who arrived on the scene were stunned. They had never seen anything like it, a dog who seemed to have instinctively known how to prevent a fatal crash. Max was shaken but unharmed, and as soon as he saw Tom, he jumped into his lap, licking his face in an exuberant display of relief and joy. Tom, slowly regaining consciousness, looked at Max with tears in his eyes, realizing that once again, the dog had saved his life. Max had become more than just a pet to Tom. He was a protector, a guardian angel in the form of a loyal companion. The bond between them grew even stronger after that, and their days together became filled with a quiet appreciation for the incredible bond they shared. Max's instincts had saved Tom twice now, and Tom often thought about how lucky he was to have a dog so brave, so intuitive, and so full of love. The incredible story of Max was not just one of heroism, but also a reminder of the extraordinary depths of the bond between humans and their animals. Max's actions had not only saved Tom's life, they had also enriched it in ways words could never fully express. Every moment spent with Max was now cherished even more deeply, for Tom knew that life was fragile, and the love of a dog was a gift beyond measure. From that day forward, Tom made sure to share his story with everyone he met, telling them about the remarkable dog who had saved his life twice, hoping that others would come to understand the power of the connection between humans and animals and the incredible ways in which animals can sometimes save us, not just from physical harm, but from the depths of loneliness, fear, and despair.